On First Take last Friday, Stephen A. Smith, they did a segment where they were comparing Jordan Love to CJ. They were talking about quarterbacks you would start a team with other than Mahomes. And the argument started to come down about Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. And part of the reason this argument came up was because Mike Tannenbaum, former GM of the Jets, was on the panel that day. And he had gone on a podcast. I don't recall which one. May have been on McAfee or Rich Eisen. One of those shows. It was with Rich Eisen, actually. It was with Rich Eisen. And he'd said after Mahomes, the next guy would take would be Jordan Love. Out of all the quarterbacks, it would be Jordan Love. And we actually played that audio, I think, a few weeks ago. So it was relevant based on the opinions Tannenbaum had expressed before. Stephen A. Smith had heard this, and boy, he took Tannenbaum to Pound Town here.
Let's look at C.J. Stroud. Third quarterback in the last 50 years to lead the NFL in both passing yards per game and touchdown to interception, turnover ratio.
Yep.
What are you talking about? This brother had a 157 passer rating in his first playoff game against the #1 ranked defense in the NFL, which is Cleveland. We saw what the man did during the regular season. And by the way, Mike T is younger than Jordan Love. I mean, what are you talking about? You brought
cheaper.
Younger and cheaper. You of all people, as cheap as you are, you actually going to sit up there and say that somebody who is more expensive, older, and on top of it all, didn't have the numbers that C.J. Stroud had, or somebody you would take from.
Okay, and we should mention, too, Ryan Clark is sitting on this panel as well and shared Stephen A. Smith's opinion. So Tannenbaum is getting double-teamed here by these two guys.
Yeah, Ryan Clark wearing a Steelers jersey.
Yeah.
Which somehow made it even, I don't know, made it better, I guess.
Yeah, so Tannenbaum is kind of knocked back off his feet a little bit. And part of the argument Stephen A. Smith was making as well was, hey, man, CJ was doing this. The Green Bay beat the Cowboys like a drum in a playoff game. Tannenbaum brought that up. And Stephen A. Smith was like, man, that was all Aaron Jones. They were running all up and down the field all over him with Aaron Jones. Tannenbaum kind of exposed his maybe lack of Texans knowledge a little bit here.
Let's go back to that Dallas game. That was a knockout punch. They went up and down the field against a really good Dallas Cowboy defense. We talk about all their struggles.
Aaron Jones running the football helped a lot.
No doubt about it.
All right, then.
Yeah, but Houston didn't run the ball last year?
Houston didn't run the ball.
They didn't run the ball that much, Mike Tate.
With Bobby Slowick, Houston didn't run the ball. That's why they went out and got Joe Mixon. Houston was about C.J. Stroud from start of the season to the finish of the season.
Yeah. Tannenbaum telling on himself a little bit right there.
The other thing, too, is that one thing I don't think people really nationally realized or picked up on was how decrepit the offensive line situation was in the first half of the season, where they were playing with 4 backups at times. It was really like everything that you wouldn't want for a rookie quarterback, including how people judged those wide receivers going into the season. Remember, it was one of the worst wide receiving cores in the league in a lot of people's minds. He did not have the support of the. Now, they did attempt to run the ball.
Yes.
They just didn't do it successfully. They had a lot of rushing attempts, but, they were not a good rushing football team last year.
Yeah, at all. So Tannenbaum got kind of exposed there by those two guys. And then, so that just blood in the water at that point. Stephen A. Smith goes back in on old Tanny right here.
You got to know how to take the L, Mike. I got RC with me.
He's changed. C.J. Stroud. Hey, C.J. Stroud changed an entire organization.
I like C.J. Stroud. It's not. This is not against C.J. Stroud, but what I'm saying is, when you look at what Jordan Love did after sitting for 2 years and the platform he has now, to me, when you look at those young skill players, when we're talking about them in November into the playoffs, they're going to be unstoppable on offense, not just this year, but going forward. And they got the one piece they needed, Jordan Morgan, the left tackle. Yeah. I think
so down with Diggs. It's wide out with Stroud throwing the football. I mean, that's not a big deal. 2010 to 2023, 43 quarterbacks were drafted. 43. One of them won a playoff start as a rookie. One is C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, the Ryan Clark in there. This is where I actually sent that clip to Mike Meltzer because he's a Jets fan.
Yeah.
And I asked him whether he was more upset about the former Jets GM, Mike Tannenbaum, not fondly remembered in New York. Should Mike be more upset about Tannenbaum preferring Jordan Love over C.J. Stroud, which you can make arguments here or there, or the fact that Mike Tannenbaum didn't even understand the assignment. He started going to – the argument was about who would you pick if you were starting a new franchise.
Yeah.
And Tannenbaum turns it into, hey, look at how good he could be this year because he's set up for success on this team. Like, that's not the assignment.
No.
You don't even understand the assignment. And you were running an NFL football team. Yeah. What the hell, Tannenbaum? Yeah. Moving the goalposts? You don't even know what the goal is.
Dude.
My God.
These guys, just Stephen A., with Ryan Clark as his tag team partner, we're just waylaying this guy in this segment. And maybe partially I'm saying that because I agree with their opinion on the choice between the two. But it was clear, like Mike Tannenbaum, Stephen A. Smith can probably tell when there's people on the panel, like, all I've got to do is yell while this guy's talking, and he's going to back down. If you hear, like, Tannenbaum was trying to make his points, and Stephen A. just starts screaming in the middle of it and will not stop screaming. It's really funny.
Yeah. I don't approve of that tactic. That's somebody who used to be very, very guilty of that myself. I realized, I'm just an a-hole. Yeah, this is not a debate I'm engaging in here. It's a shout-off.
Tannenbaum. Tannenbaum is just choosing love over Stroud.
Tannenbaum, man, we interviewed him on Radio Row once, and Mike was really excited to talk to him because, he's a Jets fan.
Yeah.
This was when he was in Miami.
Yeah.
But the thing about Tannenbaum that I realized as we were talking with him, we were on Radio Row in New York City. And the dude, he's one of these guys who, as you're having a conversation with him, on the radio, he's scanning the room the entire time. Like kind of thinking about who do I talk to next or who's that. Like that. This guy's not engaged in this conversation because he's scheming and maneuvering for whatever else he needs to, which is a very successful strategy for some people.
Well, it's a willing networker, but a bad networker. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm all about networking, man, but you got to make sure that people who you're in a conversation with realize that you're at least giving the impression that you're engaged with their conversation.
You get the impression like, okay, this guy does not have the common courtesy to try to actually have a conversation, or he's looking for the feds. Yeah. Like one or the other. He's waiting to see who's coming in that door and do they have a warrant. I don't know.
That I'd
respect. So it's either one or the other, Tannenbaum.
Right.
Are you a bad conversationalist? Are you a climber, or are you running from the feds? It's one of the two.
I need to know how many of these, Ben, I don't know if you're keeping track of these or keeping them as hotkeys. I know we've got at least one in there of Mad Dog butchering various names, but it feels like this happens once every couple weeks. This one, Mad Dog Russo, this was on his radio show. Of all the names to butcher, this guy was president of the United States for 8 years.
Or if Biden doesn't come to his senses, or if Obama or Clinton, whomever it's Obama, Michelle and Barack, if Barack Obama, if anybody's got the ability to convince him to drop out,
Barack.
It's old Barack Obama.
Barack. B-R-I-Q-U-E. Barack Obama. Barack Obama.
But that's okay. I think he's does that pretty consistently, right?
Yeah.
I remember when he first had to pronounce Johnny Manziel. Like when Johnny Manziel first burst onto the scene, he had a really, really hard time with Manziel.
Yeah. Nickelodeon is one. He's
Nickelodeon, Nickeldonian, right?
Nickeldonian, yeah.
The best part about him not understanding the Nickelodeon broadcast was like him not understanding that it was for children, I think.
Yeah.
Because he was like, I got this Nickeldonian, I got the slime and everything. Like, why do I want to watch that? What are they doing there?
You got Iron Eagle's kid talking to me like I'm 4. You got slime on the ends out.
I could see him going into some fourth grade production of his grandkids' Seussical and musical or something. Like, what are they even talking about here?
They're mispronouncing Shakespeare. All right, Payne and Pendergast with you. So thank you, Stephen A., for taking up for our guy C.J. Stroud. Where do the Rockets